Hey, this is Peggy with Easy Peasy Machine Embroidery, and today I am going to attempt to show you how I have been making um, the stained glass block type designs. I'll show you what they look like on the next slide, and I'm going to try to do this in both the Mysonet Platinum and the Premiere Plus Ultra in the digitizing software. So this is what I'm talking about. You can see the heart design here, and I actually used the E6000 glue to glue that on, but I made a second one that actually used just the Velcro dots. So I am going to start out with my Sonnet software, and I'm going to go straight into digitizing. And I am going to just hit cancel here or start a new design with no picture, but I'm just going to do cancel there. And I am going to do a couple of things here. I'm going to go into quick create. I am going to drop my pattern fill down to a multi-wave fill. I'm going to change that color over to a white. And I am going to do a satin line. And I'm going to go over here to the fill area and line. My multi-wave fill, I believe I probably had it on 17 before, so I'm going to leave it that way. And my line, I am going to make thicker, so I'm going to go with a 4. And I am going to use the square in the shape maker, and I'm going to I always forget between the two programs, and I don't know why they did this. They changed the key shortcut. So I'm holding down the control key to get it to resize proportionately. So there is my background. And then I went and did a color change. So you can go up here or just right click. I always right click. I don't know why, but that's how I do it. And I'm going to choose a pink color, and I'm going to go down to whatever shape you want. And for the satin line on this one, I'm going to do let's do about a 2.8. We'll see. And we're going to resize it. And if I go back here, I can actually go into Encore and say I want 4 repeats. Preview it. Oops. All right, we got an issue here. Duh. Cancel. Actually, we're going to go right back. It won't work that way because it's doing the whole thing. So we're going to go back into digitizing. And we're just going to do a box select. Up here in the Home tab is where you find the box select. And do a copy and a paste. And we're just going to arrange them like so. Copy and paste. And copy and paste, and so on and so forth. And if you wanted to use the Encore program, you could actually just make separate hearts in different sizes and do it that way. That would work. And then I'm going to do another insert color change. And it can be any color, doesn't matter. I'm doing a copy and paste. And I'm going to move that. And I'm going to hold down my Shift key, actually the Control key, and I'm going to make a little bigger heart and copy and paste. This little circle here is how I am arranging the hearts the way I want it to be arranged. And you get the idea. So basically, that's how I did the stained glass. I have other examples of the stained glass, so I'll pause it just a minute to show. Here is an eagle that I did, and I did this one without using the multi-fill on the eagle itself. I made it so just the red stripes here were a pattern fill, and the stars were a pattern fill, and I made sure that this line right here was a separate line, and I did a satin stitch there and a satin stitch here. I think that was about a size 3 satin stitch. And it looks really pretty when it is stitched out and put on a glass globe with a glass block with the lighting behind it. And here's a picture of how that eagle came out. I think it came out pretty good. So now we are going to go into Premiere Plus. And I'm in the main embroidery program, and I'm going to go down to the tulip flower, whatever you want to call it, and let that open. And again, I'm going to hit cancel. And I'm going to enlarge my screen. And it works the same exact way. So you go into Quick Create, set your pattern fill to a multi-wave. At least that's how I'm doing it. You could probably use some of the other fills, and you will not always use pattern fills. Some of you, for some things, you will use excuse me, for some things you will not use the multi-wave fill, and you will use the pattern fill instead. It just kind of depends. You could also use the radial fill for some of those things. So, and you would go to Quick Create and you would go to the shape maker, and again you'd pick your shape and you'd click on the shape maker. The other thing that I've been toying with is not having a satin line right away, just doing the shape itself. And this time I'm holding down my shift key. And if you wanted your okay, I guess that's not going to work the way I wanted it to work. Some of the programs, there is a little dot that comes. So I was looking to see if there was a way to change the orientation of that multi-wave fill. And if someone knows the answer to that, I would love to know the answer to that. So anyway, so I'm turning the satin line back on and holding the shift key down. Again, you can alter the density of that multi-line fill. So you could take it down to 10, but I don't think you'd probably want to, actually that's more dense. You could take it, I had it up to 20, you could take it up to 25, and it would be a little more open. Take it up to 30. It all depends on, what you like. And then we're going to go to the shapes again, and there's less shapes in this program. And there you are. Make sure you do your color change. So I just right clicked and did insert color change. Oh, there's where we are. Okay, so there we are. You could use a pattern fill. There. Oh, I have been playing in my pattern fills. Apply, was going to say okay. I had a gradient selected there. So you could do pattern fills. You could do the multi-wave fill. Maybe make it a little denser. And go home and box select. And do your sizing. And I would change that to a 2297-ish. Let's go down and change that to a white. And let's change this color into something darker so you could see what you're doing. Come on. There we go. Okay, so the background is your white. Go to box select and move them around the way you want them, and you're good to go. So it works the same way, but in the Premiere Plus, you need to go to File, and I personally like to do a Save As to save it in that EDO file. I'm just going to call it Heart for now. And then you have to do an export. And then reopen it in the the main embroidery software if you want to do anything else with it. Whereas in my Sonnet, all you got to do is hit the X and it would show up here and you can add to it or do whatever you want to it. Okay, so that is how I make my stained glass blocks. I'm pretty sure that I will be doing my little fox terrier. I just changed the colors on the Airedale pictured here. The one thing I'm gonna say is make sure when you do these type of lines that you make them thick enough so that they actually show up. I'm going to go back into the My Sonnet software just because it's simpler and easier for me to bebop here and there. So I'm going to load a background picture. I'm going to load the picture. I'm going to do this one. Actually, I'm going to stick with the one I had before. And I am going to get rid of some of that picture. There we go. And for the glass blocks, I'm actually using about a 155 by 155 block. And I'm actually going to change my hoop to that same thing. 155, 155. The glass block is typically right close to 163 by 163 to fit in that glass block. But I'm going to add some borders and whatnot. So anyway, what's going to happen here is I'm going to use Point Create, and in Premiere Plus it is called Precise Create, and I would go to I would turn my line fill off. I would go to the multi fill and I would start here and I can do this a couple ways. I'm going to add a point or two here. And I'm going to go back into edit. And kind of clear that multi-line wave fill away from the terrier. And I'm going to do that throughout on every single one of these. And then what I will do in Point Create is just do a satin line. There. And there once I'm finished, so that the background has the stained glass effect. And I'll use that Point Create to also do the interior on the dog. So I would do, for instance, I'm going to turn off the satin line and I would do a insert color change. Oh, just for kicks and giggles. Let's see, where's some browns? I'll use Ashley Gold. And I've got the multi-wave fill. Or I can switch it to a pattern fill. And I'm just going to go and do around the leg. I held down my shift key to get the angles. So there is one leg, and I would do that all through here as a pattern fill probably, and then I would go back through, turn the pattern fill off, and do the satin. And remember, it's going to stitch out exactly how you put it in there. So you don't want to be bopping from here to here to here to here and all over the place. Think about how you are doing those fills. Okay, so that's basically how I do a stained glass. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have questions and you need further instruction or whatever, let me know. Give me a thumbs up if you liked the video, and hopefully you understood how I did this. Okay, catch you later. Bye.